welcome to my channel, Stitching Style by Nadia, and my second episode of #Friday Sews. I'd firstly like to thank everybody who has watched, liked, commented on any of my vlogs or who has subscribed to my channel. I'm really happy to have you along and I really appreciate it. It means the absolute world to me. I'm going to be doing today's vlog in kind of 3 parts. The first part is going to be a fabric haul. I bought this fabric last year from Sherwoods fabrics and it has just arrived at the end of last week and I'm really happy with all the fabric I've bought and I wanted to show it to you. I did want to say that this is going to be the first and the very last fabric haul I do in 2022, and that's because I'm committed to not buying any fabric this year and really using up what I already own. I do want to do a separate vlog that talks about my commitments that I've made for low and no buy spending in 2022. So if you're interested in that kind of subject matter, then please do let me know. Let me show you the first fabric. So the first one I've got is this sweatshirting fabric, and it's fairly thick and lovely and soft and fleecy in the inside, and I got 4 meters of this because I want to make the Chillax sweatsuit by Lydia Naomi, which you will know if you saw my Make 9 plans video, and I'm really excited about doing it. So yeah, I got 4 meters, which I think will be absolutely plenty, and I might even have some left over to make something else. I also got these shoelaces to use as a drawstring around the top, and I have all the notions. I have one of those little grommet things that you put in where your drawstring goes, and a prim tool to insert them. I've never used them before, so I'm excited about giving those a go too. So the next fabric that I got was this, and I'll just bring it a little bit closer to the camera. You can see there's like a mosaic, and there is pinks, purples, white and a green colour. Now I actually ordered this fabric before I looked at Sew Your Colours 2022, and I am drawn to pinks. I love pink, and I think the pink is kind of my colour. The green probably not so much, but I think it will still look really nice and I'm really happy with this fabric. So this is a cotton jersey fabric. I think it's ex-Liberty, and so hopefully it's a really nice quality. I've not washed any of this fabric yet, so I'm yet to see how they go through the wash. So this fabric has a 2-way stretch. You can see there's some stretch that way, and that way there isn't really any stretch, just more mechanical stretch there. I've got 1.6 meters of this and I'm planning to make some kind of top with it. I don't know exactly what top yet, but I look forward to sewing this up. It's beautiful. So the next one that I got was another jersey fabric. This has stretch that way and a little bit that way, but not so much as that way. And you can see there's a kind of metallic print on it. I don't know if this is going to come off with washing, but I absolutely love the glitteriness of it, and it's quite drapey, and I think this is going to make a lovely Adrienne blouse by the Friday Pattern Company for going out. I think it was the magpie in me that really drew me to this fabric. Well, I say I'm going to make the Adrienne blouse, but I only got 1.2 meters of this, so I'm not sure whether I'll be able to squeeze it out. I'll have to wait and see. But definitely a top of some kind, and yeah, I'm very excited about sewing this up for a night out. So the next fabric I got was this Lady McElroy fabric, and it's cotton marley, and I got a 3 metre remnant, and all of the remnants were 50% off after Christmas, and I found out about it from Rachel from Stitched Up. So thanks so much, Rachel, if you happen to watch this vlog. I'm really happy that I got in there while I could and got this half price. This actually is described by Lady McElroy, I think, as a soft black. It kind of looks a little bit like more like navy blue to me. I don't know if you can see that. So there's some lovely colours in it: mint green, pink, orange and blue. I'm going to make a dress with this, probably above the knee. I think this one is absolutely lovely quality and feel, and in terms of drape, it's a little bit drapey, but because it's cotton it does have that a bit of structure to it. You can see on the back it's kind of white, and it's I think a digital print. The final fabric I've got to show you today is this organic stretch ultra black denim, and this is also a 3 metre remnant and also Lady McElroy. I think the weight of this is 9 ounce, and it's 98% cotton and 2% spandex, and I've not got any black denim in my fabric collection. This will either be for jeans or maybe dungarees or maybe a pinafore dress. Not decided, and this is one of the reasons why I want to cut down on my buying in 2022, because I often see fabric that I love and purchase it without actually having any plans in place. And I think I'm going to have to be careful about how I wash this black denim, because I know that it can kind of get lines in. I think one of the tips was to put it in with a tennis ball. So if you know any tips, then please let me know on how I should wash this denim to keep it in such nice condition. Now I've shared my fabric with you, I wanted to talk about what I am wearing today. This is a ready-to-wear cardigan from M&S, and I'm wearing some skinny jeans. Now, what I wanted to show you was this little top, and I'll stand to the side so you can kind of see the length compared to the waistband on my jeans, and as you will see, it is quite short. So I just wanted to talk about the sewing process of this and why I made it, and some of the mistakes that I made when doing so. Now I would say that in terms of my sewing, I'm moving more towards the intermediate category. I actually started sewing in May 2020, but in terms of fitting and actually making things that I really enjoy to wear, I'm still in the kind of the beginner category, especially fitting to my own body. Now the reason that I wanted to make this top was because I have some lovely fabric and I want to make an Ashton top by Helen's Closet from it. I know I enjoy wearing this top. It goes with other things in my wardrobe. I enjoy the style of it, and I know it's a piece that I reach for. And what I wanted to do was just to kind of make a twirl, to do a small bust adjustment on this top, just to improve the fit ever so slightly. It was a little bit of an experiment with this top, but when I sewed it up, I had a little bit of trouble getting the neckband to lie flat. So I put the neckband in and it was standing proud. I think this was my first mistake. When I made the mistake and it wasn't looking how I wanted it to, instead of rushing and cutting it off, I really should have spent the time to unpick it properly and then to reattach it. But I then made the same mistake again, because when I reattached the neckband, I reattached it to the wrong side. Now fortunately I'd not top stitched it down, so there was only, say, another 1 centimetre to come off the neckband, but I did cut that one off as well, rather than take the time to unpick it. And I've ended up with quite a wide opening, and it's a bit gapey when I bend over, which I'm not that comfortable with, so I really regret cutting off so much of the neckband. Then what happened was I was French seaming it, and I French seamed on the ruffle at the bottom, but then I decided that it was a little bit too long and I wanted it a little bit shorter. Now, in the frenzy of sewing it, I didn't take the time to measure properly where I wanted the ruffle, and so I just guessed and cut off quite a bit of the top. I did unpick the ruffle, even though it was French seamed on. That actually made it a little bit easier, because I didn't have to do the regathering of the ruffle. I could just undo where I'd stitched it right sides together, and where it was wrong sides together I just kind of kept it because there was such a small seam allowance. And then when I reattached it, I just kept that stitching in place. So it was actually pretty simple to reattach the ruffle, and had I known that, I probably would have slowed down. But I think this was my other mistake then, just rushing to get things finished rather than just taking the time to measure it and to do it properly. So I am happy with the way the top looks overall. It's got a little bit, I love the little bit of the ruffle, and I'll just show you the little ruffle at the bottom. But the problem is, now it's a little bit short and sitting above my waistband, and I don't normally wear such cropped things, is that I want to show any skin really. So that's why I've got it on with a vest underneath. I normally wear vests anyway. So I do think this will be nice, particularly in summer, to wear. And I quite like how I've styled it today, underneath a cardigan and over a vest. But I think there are definite learning points for future. And I am going to really try now and slow my sewing down and make sure that I am creating pieces that I do want to wear. I'm going to insert a video now of me doing the small bust adjustment. So if you're interested in following my steps of how I did it, then please stay tuned. The first things that I'm going to do is just to follow the instructions which Helen does have on a blog about how to do a small bust adjustment. In fact, I'll just start the first bit of the process now. So the first thing you want to do is to get your pattern piece and to mark like the fullest part, like the apex of your bust. I'm just going to have to go and do that in the mirror, and then I'll show you. Well, that was very difficult to tell, because you've got to try and position it so obviously you're taking into account the seam allowance. But I think it was, I marked it a bit higher first, but then I've marked it a bit lower, and I think that lower one, I think that's about where my the apex of my bust is. So that's the first thing that we have to mark, and then we're going to be drawing 3 lines. We start from the bust apex and draw a line through the middle of the existing dart. Right, so so it's all in black, but you can see that I've drawn a line from there through to the middle of the existing dart. So I've got a different coloured pen now for the next one. So we draw a line from the arm side to the bust apex and then straight down to the hem. So I've done that. You can see I've actually drawn two lines because I did it to the wrong part, the higher one, but I wanted to do it to the lower one. So drawn, I just went to the notch, down to the apex, and then right down to the bottom. Then we need to draw a line from about, she says it doesn't matter too much, but 1 to 2 inches up from this line here over to the side here. There we go. I've just popped that in there. Now we have to do some cutting of the lines. I'm cutting all the way up from the bottom up to the apex and then across to the arm side, and I've got to leave a bit of a hinge here, so just cut to the seam allowance, so just guesstimated that, and then cut from the middle of the existing bust dart towards the apex and leave a hinge so you can move your pattern pieces but it's still attached like that. So, and then we cut off this bottom bit completely. So this line that we drew here, we just cut that bit off. It's a bit scary. I think I should have traced this pattern piece, shouldn't I? Before I started doing all this to it, in case I decided I didn't want the small bust adjustment. Oh well, it's too late now. Before we start overlapping the lines, we need to know how much room to take out. And the equation is the full bust measurements of the size you want to make. Take away your full bust measurement divided by 2. So I'm just going to re-measure myself because I want it really accurate. 36 upper bust, so that's below my armpits. I think I'm actually 37.25. So I think it's 3/4 of an inch. So basically, because 3/4 of an inch is 2 centimetres, I'm going to find it easier to work in 2 centimetres rather than fractions, and I just need to take 1 centimetre out of the pattern. I think I've got all that straight in my head. So now we have to draw a guide. On this one that's straight up from the hem, I'm just going to draw a line 1 centimetre away, just as a guide as to where I'm going to put the pattern piece, because that was the measurement from my equation that she told me to do. So 1 centimetre. I'm going to draw that on now. And I'm just going to move this big piece here to match that line there. I know this probably just seems a bit of a faff, but I think once you've done it, then it's done on that pattern piece, isn't it? I think it's going to be worth it. I'm going to tell myself it's going to be worth it. I must say that Helen's instructions are just really clear. So if you're not following along with what I'm doing here, which I know, I don't blame you, then you know, just follow Helen's instructions. Brilliant. Right, so the next thing we do is put that piece that I cut off at the bottom back in and just make sure that it's straight, because you don't need the extra room for it to go over your bust out of the front piece of the pattern. Hopefully you can see that. So that's hopefully nice and straight. That piece has gone back in now. And now we've got to just sort out the new dart. So after a little bit of reading, I've worked out what to do. So these, where the dart legs for the size 12 started, we're going to connect that to where I'd put the bust apex. Now there's sellotape all over that, so we'll do our best. Right, you won't be able to see this very well because there's sellotape on it, so I couldn't do a proper line. But yeah, I've drawn the lines in and I'll just have to try and work it out when I do my cutting out. And then we've just got to redraw this little, what she's called a dart hat. So you can see it's a bit messy there, so we just need to make a little triangle there. So I'm going to do that now. I've redrawn a new dart hat and I'm just going to snip off those edges. SBA done. Hopefully, if you need an SBA, hopefully that hasn't put you off. So I hope you enjoyed seeing that video of me doing the small bust adjustment. I do actually think it improves the fit. It's probably not easy to tell on photos though. Now I've sewn another Ashton top and I had so many issues with it, I'm not really in the mood to sew another one. I think I'm just going to leave that project for a while until I get some more motivation to make it again. I'm really looking forward to my next project, which is going to be a surprise. I'm going to be so excited to share it with you because I'm doing a hack inspired by a designer garment. So if you'd like to see what I've made, then please come back next week and have a look. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.